versus IG. We do expect this to be a little bit of a lopsided series, to say the least.
Yeah.
But I suppose for both sides, definitely still an opportunity to exhibit, some, in the case of JDG, perhaps some more fun picks that they've been working on. And in the side of IG, potentially the opportunity still to flex their muscles on a match stage against arguably the best team here in the LPL still.
Absolutely. I will say, though, straight away, I love what IG's brought onto the table here. Give YSKM a carry, some explosive team fight potential with this Nico and Samira. I mean, yes, you do have some great carries and great, kind of potential here on the side of JDG. But for IG, I love the start of it, kind of how this game is going to try and start out. If you want to be trying to dive in, keep JDG off of kilter. We saw it many times this split already that if you want to try and beat JDG, you have to just all in onto Ruler and honestly kind of hope and pray that you're able to kind of outhands them from there.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where for a very long time, JDG were considered such a strong team from start to finish in so many aspects of their game, fundamentally, mechanically, that there came a point where it's like, okay, well, there was this brief period of time where if you make the early game such a chaotic mess that you would occasionally catch them off guard and you could pull a few thousand gold ahead, around the 15-20 minute mark, but then they would just start winning magically. So it is a very, very difficult thing to navigate, but I agree. I like the flavor of what IG are going for here, right? They've got kind of, to dub your very common saying, a Venn diagram of death going with the Samira and with the Nico. And if they can find some of those combinations onto Ruler, he is going to be a lot of their consistent DPS over the course of team fights. So, really, really important they get on top of him. But I do worry about Knight and the amount of freedom perhaps that he's going to have on the side lane, just generally the side lane strength here for JDG as a whole with the Gnar on the top side as well.
See what they're able to do, of course. We do see that Knight has got his hands on the LeBlanc. This is the last day, the last game of 13-12. We are going to 13-13 tomorrow. So we're going to see if that LeBlanc Shiv should be kind of maybe brought up. I was going to say it's still going to be here, but...
Don't question it. It's still going to be here. You know it's going to be here. It's
I like to dream, though.
Yeah, so...
Let me have these.
I've admittedly not necessarily... worked the numbers on the 13-13 nerfs, but I imagine still that LeBlanc is still going to have Shiv be her best in-slot item, as level 2 not quite hit by arm, but the trade is still positive. See that that's what they were angling for. That's why Wink went in on that Dredge line timer. But still, priority down here, it's not necessarily going to amount to too much, because Tianzhen's actually pathing away from this bottom side matchup. He's pathing up towards the top side, and actually so is Kanavi, so both junglers could meet each other on the end of their full clears, but for now, we'll be doing just that, just clearing.
Yeah, just getting a bit of a clear. We can mention some of the stakes at large here for this one. Pretty simple for IG. You gotta win. Actually, I don't even think a win. I actually think maybe they're already mathematically out. I'm not actually quite sure. I'll have to triple check that one there. But either way, you're still fighting. You're still looking to see if you go out. You are on 3-10. I think even maybe it's something of a game. Yeah,
they are, as far as I'm aware, they are still mathematically capable of making it to the top 10 because Ninjas and Pajamas are 6 wins.
They need a 2-0. They need a lot of 2-0s.
They basically need to 2-0 every series.
Yeah, all 3 series. So that would give them, I think, -8. And I think then if NIP go to 0-2 a couple of their series, they would have to. Yeah, there's a lot to be said there. But I mean, for IG, look, as long as there's a chance, as long as there's a will, there's a way. They have to try and make something happen here. And look, you got to face JDG at some point here in the LPL, so there's no real point crying over spilled milk. It would have either by the start of the split or right now. Either way, it's going to be a difficult game or a difficult series. On the other hand, JDG is still looking to try and confirm themselves top 2. It is all but confirmed. However, I will say that a random loss here or there, maybe Top Esports will start to look at JDG a little bit more favorably. As IG maybe trying to go onto Ruler. Ooh, they do not hit the Q. And that's those nerves coming in here. You would have loved to have been able to try and get that kill confirmed there, but they still get the flash, so still not a bad gank.
Flash is still super important because on such a decent lane matchup here, into Ruler, you can always use that W, that big sort of circular wind wall to block the feather pullback from Ruler. And just generally, if there's no flash, if you dash in, he's not really going to be able to get away from you or CC you down. So still getting the flash is a pretty big yield, and we'll see whether or not IG can actually take it as a big enough advantage as just getting a slow-mo replay. Just one of those awkward moments. I feel like they're anticipating once Wink and Arn walk out the bush that Ruler's going to take a step back, right? And just Tianzhen in his own head, unfortunately, makes that one a miss. But this wave crashes in. I anticipate Ruler and Missing are going to want to take a reset. They might be able to force past the wave. They try and fade a freeze like that.
This is perfect. Yep, absolutely. You want to make sure you're getting the best situation here in the bot side. I talked about it. Teams have found success by putting Ruler behind, and that is exactly what IG are doing. Great start here in this bot side. But now in the mid lane, Cryin will probably lose his flash off of this one here, you would imagine. Yeah, just going to pop it off right at the end. Make sure he's underneath this tower. But good start for IG. That's the kind of momentum plays they need to try and make this match, you know, again, more favorable, or even some kind of way to make it worth for them.
Yeah, but it has to continue, right? It has to be a rolling ball of momentum. So even, you know, reset from On and Wink right now. The wave's going to crash back in for Tianzhen. Being invaded right now. Let's see if he can steal away, win out on this night. No, he's going to win it wholeheartedly. Make a return briefly to keep Cryin off the wave. So Tianzhen needs to just... Low-key, he needs to just clear his 2 top camps, reset, and run straight bot. Like, that's what he's got to do. He could even forego... I was about to say, he could even forego it if he really wants to. Saw him for a brief moment think about it. What they want to do is potentially bait out Knight to distort underneath the tower, but surely Knight thinks slightly differently. Unless he can, like, double distort plus a Q in there. As Cryin is exceptionally low. Whilst all of that is going on. Dipping, diving, dancing in the mid lane. JDG have secured the first dragon, so even though we wanted to see IG kind of dominate the bottom side of the map, and that typically means dragon control, it's not going to be the case. Hex flash over the wall in the mid lane could be interesting, but top side a little bit more. Knight's dead, it's a solo kill.
I was going to say, Knight got caught underneath the turret and was just tanking it there because of the Tangled Barbs. So now 369 looking for a 1v2, won't be able to get it, and this momentum from IG is massive. Yes, they lost a dragon, which is a bit unfortunate, but solo kill in the mid lane, top lane going well as well. Tianzhen really coming out strong here in these early few minutes.
Yeah, found his marks here, able to abuse some of the major missteps from the JDG laners. Of course, I'm sure we'll get a full replay of how Knight ended up getting tangled underneath the tower. I actually just missed it. I looked away for half a second. It's good timing from Cryin. And it's the extended duration too, because that was purple. I'm not sure what it hit in front of him. I think it was actually his own decoy from the passive, the LeBlanc. Bit unfortunate on his part, but that's what you get for kind of just stepping a bit too far forward.
And look, it's only 1,000 gold lead. Yes, he did lose the early dragon, but those are the kind of plays that can work for you, especially when you have such an incredibly high DPS team on your hands for IG. We talked about it very briefly for the comps, but this Gwen getting ahead, the Nico getting ahead, these are the things that can just kind of force Ruler and the rest of JDG to think twice when they go for it engaged. You know, you're kind of building up to maybe getting an item threshold a little bit earlier than you normally would expect. So really, really want to see kind of IG build off of this momentum, and it's only a start, but we'll see if they can go for anything else. Missing now, looking to try and jump here onto Wink. I feel like Wink's just dead. Yeah, On's going to try his hardest, but it's only a little bit of scratching to kind of turn back onto this one here. I like the idea from Kanavi to try and maybe turn into the Nautilus and turn back, but On honestly recognizing that, look, we're just a little bit too far extended, and we're just going to have to give up a support as a kill. But now they might get a couple more plates as well, because, yeah, I mean, On just has to leave. He can't stay here.
A little bit too risky. Problem is, even though On can technically use that W to block out a majority of the damage from Ruler and even the stun from Kanavi, he can't really stop missing. He sidesteps the Q, so that's a pretty big part of it. Oh, Ruler took...
Yeah, and a heal.
He ramped tower. Sure, so it will just be Ruler's heal. A little bit messy from JDG. Tianzhen's here now, and he's got level 6, so pick on Kanavi. Could force out Ruler's R as well. It depends on if they want to try and be aggressive, but it seems like they just want to all turn around and risk taking a fight where they could end up in the numbers disadvantage either side.
Yeah, you really would have loved to have the from the depths for Wink there. He just level 5, not quite in a position to kind of, you know, force out an ultimate from Ruler and then follow up with the cease and desist from Tianzhen. So unfortunate there for IG, and of course bot lane kind of comes in, and this is the problem when you're going against JDG, is that you got to keep that pressure up. You cannot just let yourself go, right, we did it. You know, good job, everybody. We got 3 kills in the first 10 minutes, because despite you getting those 3 kills, it's actually JDG, funny enough, who are kind of getting themselves ahead again in the gold differentials, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. Normally, gold in your first few minutes of the game does skew quite heavily towards a team that does have those first few kills, but I mean, just the CS leads and just the pressure they're being able to build from this Kanavi kind of hard farming is just insane.
It's a pretty big gap in the CS department in quite a few places. But you know, I feel like anytime a team gets ahead of JDG, it's like those moments in shonen anime where they feel like they've killed off the big bad boss, and then he revives one more time, but I feel like 369, he's not reviving from that gank.
No, not for at least another 30 seconds.
No,
not for another 30 seconds, but got to keep it up. I love this from IG. And look, we're obviously being very, very positive towards them right now because, you know, JDG are everything, you know, but assured, a lot of people think, to win this game and to come out of a clean 2-0. We even just said it, and, you know, I don't think it's any kind of disrespect. Oh, no, Wink.
Oh,
you've already used your dredge line, and yeah, Wink's almost certainly going to be going down here. Bit unfortunate, but, I mean, like, as I said, like, it's just, like, it's so hard to see another result other than JDG 2-0ing in a very convincing fashion. So for IG to get this kind of a start and to try and keep this pressure going, to give YSKM this kind of priority in top side as well, it's very, very promising to see.
Yeah, but bottom side right now is where I'm looking because the dive, it's on its way. On flash cleanse, everything's up, but can he do it?
Nice Inferno Trigger gonna be able to come out of this one here, but he just can't get it going for himself. Kanavi will just about get himself away. Remember, you're not invulnerable to turret damage in the Heartbreaker. But yeah, I mean, look, you get knocked down, he gets up again, you're never going to keep him down. That is just too easy here for JDG because they've caught Wink out now twice and punished on for it now in 2 times in a row.
Yeah, exactly. Very easy underneath these towers. I think at this point, oh, Tianzhen, this is cheeky, this is cute. This is like a solo queue dragon. Knight's going to sniff it out though. That's the problem. Throws in the chain.
I mean, Knight can't really fight this on his own. There was 3 resets, yeah, okay. So I actually think this still goes over to IG. So yes, you say definitely risky, but Knight, honestly, I think it was just Knight trying to maybe bluff a little bit too much, saying, oh, I'm here, you have to back away. But good trigger discipline from IG, recognizing, hey, no way you've got support here, so we're definitely going to be able to hold this, as we can see on. Look, he does as much as he possibly can, but, I mean, 3v1 under tower, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, W to Spectral more. I think the only thing he could have done differently here. Oh, okay. Definitely flashed the crash down. He cleansed it instead. Bit awkward. But even then, 3v1 to almost kill off Kanavi. Feels alright, but losing the wave certainly did not. But like you mentioned, tempo, it's got to stay high. I want to see IG come up here again. I want to see Tianzhen just force the issue, get YSKM further and further ahead. At this point, I feel like the bottom lane, it's not necessarily foregone, but you know how Samira's eventually going to work. It's going to take one team fight, where even if she doesn't necessarily have the item, she's still going to deal a whole buttload of damage of this lethality variant with the ultimate. So I feel like you kind of have a baseline to work off already, and if you've got this Gwen who can threaten the backline to then allow Arn to slip in and finish off those health bars and get the resets with the Inferno Trigger and those dashes, might pay off a little bit more than trying to actually play into getting Arn ahead when Kanavi and Missing alongside Ruler are already winning out this 2v2 and 3v3 so heavily.
Yeah, and look, the fact that Kanavi is just very much aware of what you just said there and just saying, cool, well, you know, we don't want to try and lose anything here. We want to keep on underneath his tower, constantly getting, you know, harassed. 30 CS now behind Ruler. Does have the Dustblade of Drakkar, so definitely getting up to a nicer point in the game. Of course, the changes to Dustblade make him untargetable, which is very handy for you know, an ult spamming kind of Samira if they're able to get in multiple Inferno triggers. But now I like this again from IG. Kind of say, cool, we're happy with this. You're not giving any presence to 369. 369 respects this and just recognize, okay, I'm on the box side. Oh, Pop Blossom's going to be able to catch him out. Knight caught out a little bit too much here. He does have the flash available to him and has some support with Kanavi and Missing coming in now. Not going to get the Tangle Bard. Flash for flash as Wink and Kanavi trade themselves some summoners. Knight still kind of dipping in and out, looking to try and be a bit more of a nuisance.
Wait,
that cancelled the animation of the ultimate there. We didn't get the From the Depths coming out. Interesting.
Oh, I wonder if, because he dashed back, like he blinked back, the vision, there's like that brief moment of time where the ultimate can get cancelled. Broke the animation. And I think he broke the animation. That's kind of unfortunate, because if Knight eats that depth charge, he for sure has to flash at the bare minimum. But that's definitely an intended interaction. It's not a bug, but just kind of unlucky timing there for Wink. Be able to force anything out of Knight, but JDG definitely take a deep breath and feel happy about that one, because Knight certainly could have dropped in that exchange. Really well played from Cryin in that trade.
We'll wait. JDG happy for this game to go a little bit later. Love that YSKM's just been kind of given free time. No longer is he being given free time. JDG recognizing that this is an issue. The Ghost will get popped here. He is the richest man in the game in a 1v4. I don't think I would even give 369 or bin this, but in a 4v2, he might be able to make something happen, making a 4v3. Now Cryin coming in immediately, though, hasn't got the Pop Blossom and will die straight off of the bat. YSKM now goes a little bit too far forward, and all of a sudden, IG, it was all looking so good, and now JDG are starting to turn up the heat.
Yeah, really strange teleport there from Cryin. Maybe thinking that he had that Pop Blossom, right? It was very close to being off cooldown, but he definitely didn't have it. Goes in, dies, so kind of baits YSKM in after all of that runabout. It's probably going to make JDG expend a lot, but now they don't have to expend anything to get this tier 2 on the bottom side. It's just kind of part of the course off the back of that pick. Extra gold going into everyone's back pocket besides Ruler, so I guess a win for IG in the long run. Teleport comes in. It's just a really easy pincer, but you know, Ghost, a little bit of nice sidestepping. This W doesn't really get too much blocked away, but then when this...
I actually think he gets away. If they don't teleport, I think he just walks away from it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he definitely
Ghost
does.
Pops, dashes. I think he actually gets away with it.
Well,
it's unfortunate.
Dead now. Well, he's alive again. Long revived.
That's how it works in the games. Those seats look very comfortable.
Those look like
in the Beijing stadium.
Premium cinema seats, bro. Like
yeah, they do. It's like IMAX.
Yeah, you know, they got the seat warmer. They recline.
Oh,
all that good stuff.
It's still weird to get a recliner for like a movie theater. If you think about it, you want to be like engaged in watching the movie, not reclining and maybe falling asleep. I don't know. Always felt weird to me that you would get a recliner for watching a giant, 100-inch
I get
screen.
what you're saying. No, I hear you. I was in an American... Every American theater, smile, that I've been in has those big old reclining chairs. I think it's just the course over there. I'm just very happy to fall asleep in a movie.
Yeah, this is, you know what? I've got 4 hours to kill. I'll just go watch a movie and fall asleep. Go see a director's cut of something. But while we were in that replay, we did actually see the Rift Herald being taken here by the side of IG, who are starting to fall a little bit further behind. It's all of a sudden the 3,000 gold lead here for JDG. They've got themselves pressure from the mid lane now from the side of IG as they want to try and contest for this dragon. Remember, we talked about how they want to try and keep up this early tempo. I like that they're kind of maybe focusing a bit more in this mid lane. They should get a crash in, and they should confirm that tower. Nicely done there by them. And now they're going to turn their attention back towards this dragon. It has been currently taken by the Gnar as they're looking for a fight straight off the bat. They jump onto Ruler, they CC him down, and they burst him out. Now the Pop Blossom is good, and the Inferno trigger reigns supreme. The absolute damage coming out, though, from Knight on the backside is huge. Can 369 go mega? That is the question. The needlework is good, but is it good enough? We're going to see Cryin having to flash over the wall because they do have the Mega Gnar now coming in. YSKM with blue buff and red. But they do not want this fight. It's a 3-for-2 trade in favor of IG, but you can see just how close JDG were to turning it around.
Yeah, he definitely could. Arn really needs that collector, right? There were so many, or like 2 health bars, I think, that were around that kind of mark where they would have been executed by it, but they just sat on 1 HP. Once that extra bit of lethality and execute comes through on the IM, he's definitely going to a couple more resets in. He dealt so much damage in that team fight, though, regardless in the AoE. I think just sat in the middle of 3-4 members almost with that ultimate channeling. Just generally, IG as well. Pretty good team fight overall, but the dust settles, as it always is. JDG are the ones that are going to end up with the objective. Chances are, I don't think Tianzhen's going to give his life over for this one.
Wink.
Yeah, second dragon, a wink.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's on full vision. He needs to be careful, and yeah, he's gonna Spider-Man his way out. He's fine, shouldn't have any issue, or he'll walk backwards because he needed to for some reason, and that's gonna be Wink losing his flash for honestly not really any good reason, just kind of not respecting the fact that JDG were still in the area. And now YSKM gonna force Kanavi to flash away, who has the Heartbreaker over the wall as well. 369 using the ultimate, and you can see just how powerful now this Gwen can be with 2 items now on the board. YSKM is the carry.
Yeah, he really is. He's super accelerated in this game. Whole item up on 369 right now. He's been on the map for a while, so maybe he's got some gold to spend on the reset, but really, really far ahead. But like you mentioned, kind of just get a go from Tianzhen here. Few hits, ultimate as well, and it's one of those things where even if you are playing a Zyra into the Vi, if you somehow manage to get hit by that Vault Breaker, you can get chain CC'd in entirety. That's what I was talking about as well. If Arn could have maybe picked up missing on that execute if he has the collector at this fight, maybe he can reposition a little bit nicer. whilst he's in the mix to get his way back out. But then at this point, it's about the turnaround damage from 9369. A little bit of rundown, but it doesn't really amount to too much. But you can see these big AoE ultimates here from IG. Between Cryin on and YSKM. Really can mince JDG if they're caught asleep at the wheel.
We come back in, waiting to see how IG kind of crack open this game. For JDG, it does feel like the longer it goes on, the more items we get, the more we're starting to see maybe a potential for Ruler to pop off. And Tianzhen, yeah, you get on the Ruler, but you're isolated, my friend. You can't really go for that fight. Missing will go in there with the Ignite and the Magnet Storm, so turning that one straight away back around in favor of IG. Knight trying to burst out on, but doesn't get the kill confirmed. IG kind of forcing JDG into these weird skirmishes, and they are starting to get, you know, some mistakes coming out from the MSI champions.
Yeah, it's not very orthodox at all, some of these skirmishes. I feel like JDG, like you mentioned, just a little bit...
They're chasing this.
A little bit odd. They are chasing. That's a dredge line of 369.
On so low. This is a risky moment to go into here. We're going to see Knight just constantly poking and prodding. Going to get the chains to go off here on Tianzhen. And maybe take him out. He's so low. Pop Blossom is good, but it doesn't catch on the Ruler. We're going to have to wait to see how this fight really works. 369 denies everything from the side of IG. Quadra kill for the side of Ruler, and just like that, it's all JDG.
Oh, man. This is what I was saying. You make a game awkward in the early stages for JDG. They just win in the mid game. It's how it works, and it's a button press from 369. That ultimate was huge. Stopped the Infernal trigger from maybe turning the fight around into IG's favor. And Ruler is the benefactor of everything that goes on in front of him. Quadra kill. It's 1, 2, and 3. Focused a little bit by IG, but then given a lot of respect back by Kanavi. Now 5, 2, and 3 means probably going to go back to base and almost pick up another item. Machine, I'm afraid. You're hoping that IG can maybe cause an upset here. They can just walk back out onto the map and siege away at all of these tier 2s that's still remaining, and maybe even crack open the base.
I mean, you saw just how confident Knight is on this pick as well. He was constantly poking, prodding, looking for it. And again, looking for an engage in a tight corridor like that against what we always talk about, the Venn diagram of death, is so risky. But let's have a look at the POV of Ruler, because he knows that as long as he doesn't get CC'd, he's fine. He's got flash and heal and ultimate. Like, I don't think he's in any real danger.
None at all. And I mean,
369.
As soon as that Gnarl hits, he knows he can basically go melee range as well. I mean, he was never in danger, like you mentioned. Like, the only big threat realistically was Cryin maybe flashing onto him as well, but I'm not even sure he had it whilst that fight actually played out. So, yeah, no danger at all. Finds himself 4 kills. The rest of his team just bought him the space to do it.
Oh, we come back into live. It's nearly a 6,000 gold lead. Pressure in mid and bot, and you can see IG, they're spread thin. They don't really know how they want to try and fight this one here. Kanavi can play between both of those lanes while Knight off to a side. And like, the funny thing is that despite that massive fight going in favor of JDG, they lost nothing. Like, Kanavi didn't have a flash to lose, so everyone still has their ultimates and, or excuse me, their summoners available to them. Just a huge moment there for JDG, and this is why they're just the best team in the LPL, it feels like. It feels like even when IG are trying to hard force stuff like this, they just can't miss. It comes in. Another Mega Gnar from 369. Denies everything. Finally On can get the Infernal trigger going, but Kanavi with the Heartbreakers has to get himself out. Actually, this is turning right the way around for the moment. IG still doing it, but Ruler wasn't there. Ruler was saying, cool, you guys want to fight 4v5? That's fine, I'm taking your base.
Yeah, he was just giggling in the mid lane. Maybe they can pick him off while he's got ultimate flash and heal.
Oh, you needed those Tangle Barbs to land, and now YSKM and Cryin, Tianzhen and On, trying to see if they can do this 1v4. Can Ruler be a god? That is the question. The feathers go flying, and you can see IG are tentative. They don't really know if they want to go for this one. Flash away. Ruler still keeping himself there. 1v4, and he still stays alive. Ruler, my boy, just so cool, calm, and collected.
No one had the range to get back on top of Ruler there. Tianzhen tried with the Q smite. Cryin tried with the flash Q. Neither one connected. Maybe Kanavi can make something of nothing here, but I feel like too many bodies in the way between him and that dragon. Go over to IG. It's an objective bounty, you know. Small wins. You know, small wins. Extra 500 gold across the team. As starts off just a bit of a... I don't know why Kanavi's rotating down here, but he is anyway. Flash for flash means that 369 still gets dredge line. Missing. Kind of interrupts Cryin on the way in, and it's a pretty good AHA again from 369, but this time there's no Ruler follow-up, right? There's no extra DPS. So YSKM and On basically kill off the back line, or more aptly, kind of the front line of 369 and missing. But come out of the replay, deja vu, we're right back to it.
Yeah, but this time we've added ourselves ruler. That's the difference in the dream this time around. It's a little bit harder in reality for you to try and make this one work. So, but IG, we see what they can do. Knight's just going to go bop, and that's going to be the turret confirmed. So your base is very exposed right now. It feels like IG need to win every single fight, but also the big thing is now they can't really leave their base to contest things like this Baron in 2 minutes. It's just going to be a bit of turtling for the next, 5-6 minutes before they can really look for a fight.
Yeah, and the reality is, IG are almost that one more fight into a loss, right? Because their base is already open. If the minion wave is there for it, we know JDG will just pull the trigger and end. So IG, if they're going to take a fight, they have to take it quite far away from their base. They take a fight whilst they're trying to draw battle lines right outside. And JDG will pretty much always have a way to just quickly end the game. So I think for JDG, they're very happy to kind of do whatever they want. They've got Knight over here on this LeBlanc, very strong. And even though YSKM's 3 items, like the way that these two champions interact pretty much just mean that Knight is always going to win out on this side lane exchange. Too hard for YSKM to actually lock down the LeBlanc, right? As Knight, you really, really have to botch something up to allow YSKM to run you down.
I will say, Knight did lose all his stacks off his Medjoys because of that last fight. He actually TP'd in, immediately got pop blossomed, and then immediately flashed and got killed. So a little unfortunate to kind of see that there, but I mean, it's 50 CS up. It's hard to see any kind of real world where you can come back, but I will say, it's a big old Gwen. YSKM is pretty damn massive, and if you can get the miracle fight, this is going to be the kind of team that can just steamroll you past it. And Mortal Shield Bow now finished up for On, so having that extra little bit of survivability could be the key difference here. And it's not a million miles away here for IG to try and, contest on these, kind of fights, but they need to find a good moment or two really to make it work.
Okay. You flash from Tianzhen onto Ruler into immediate ultimate, so you can't ult. Cryin pop loss. That's the setup. That's how it happens.
He's figured it out.
I
the formula has been written in the stars.
I can see it right now. I've got my astronomy tools out. I don't know what they look like. Maybe it's like.
What do the crystals say? What did the crystals say? Are you sure that Mercury's not in retrograde? What's happening, Jamada? Sorry, I just no, it's okay. I always find those things very humorous to me. As we see now, YSKM and Neny having.
Don't worry, they're just waving at each other. Like, here's the thing about this side lane matchup: neither one really has the Neny definitely has the capability to kill YSKM, but it's like he probably shouldn't be given the opportunity by YSKM, and YSKM's never gonna have the opportunity to kill Neny because of how mobile he is. So let's talk about star signs. What's wrong with the machine? Why do you find them bad?
I love how normally most people's first question is, what star sign are you? Yours is, why do you hate them? Why do you hate this?
Because
I don't hate them.
Okay, then.
What I do think, though, is that when you let it dictate your life, you need to start sorting some stuff out. Like,
yes,
you need to start changing up how you think about these things. It's a little bit of a different flavor of how I think about them. You know. The only horoscope I ever let me do something, it said something along the lines of like, you should go home and eat chocolate, and I did. Well, nope. Thinking about chocolate means we're going to go straight into a team fight. The Pop Blossom hits literally nothing. Ruler is basically a free target right now. They can get on top of him, and they are trying, but the feathers tear through IG. They threw everything at Ruler. He threw everything back. And JDG, 4 for nothing in that team fight. Only the Vi jungle to try and deny this. But, I mean, this is going to be the 1-0 coming in here for JDG as they look to continue to oppress everyone in this league.
Yeah. Lost that one series at the start of summer.
Literally week 1.
Literally week 1. It's been over a month since we've seen this team take a series loss, dominate IG in game number 1. See if they can look to do the same thing again, just close this out in a clean 2-0.
I mean, look, I give massive props to IG. They